There's something strange that happens when two people become connected, not always by being close, and not even always on purpose, but by thought. You could be walking down the street, just doing your own thing, when suddenly you feel something, a pull, a quiet whisper of their name in your head, a random memory, a feeling that doesn't fit the moment. It's not logical, it's not something you planned, but it hits hard with the weight of something real. And maybe it is real? We live in a world that tells us to ignore things like this. We're taught to call it coincidence or just tricks of the mind. If you think about someone and they think about you at the same time, you're told it's just your brain trying to find patterns. But what if that's not the full story? What if there's more to it than that? What if when two minds have been emotionally linked, they can still reflect each other even across time, distance, and silence? Like ripples from a shared moment echoing in separate places. Human beings aren't robots. We don't just react to stuff automatically. We're deep, we're full of layers, emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. And when two people build a real connection, especially one built on truth, pain, and deep emotional openness, something invisible is formed. You can't see it or touch it, but you can definitely feel it. And that connection doesn't just disappear because time has passed or because you've stopped talking. Sometimes the thoughts remain, and sometimes those thoughts go both ways. The problem is we live in a world full of noise, distractions, endless scrolling, constant notifications. We've gotten so used to ignoring our inner voice that we no longer trust our feelings. How many times have you felt sudden sadness or had a dream about someone from long ago and told yourself it didn't mean anything? How many times have you felt someone's presence so strongly it was almost like they were in the room with you, but you shut it down because it didn't make sense? But emotions have their own kind of wisdom, and when two people are truly thinking about each other at the same time, something starts to shift. It shows up in random moments, a song playing at just the right time, a feeling you can't explain, a coincidence that seems too specific. These aren't just made-up fantasies. These are signs, echoes, and they deserve to be taken seriously, not blindly believed, but not dismissed either, because they might be pointing to something important. Maybe there's something left unfinished. Maybe there's healing that hasn't happened yet. Maybe the connection is fading and wants to say a final goodbye, or maybe, just maybe, it's guiding you toward a truth you haven't faced yet. But to understand it, you have to be honest with yourself. Let go of the idea that everything has to make perfect sense on paper. Emotional bonds are real, and when they are strong and mutual, they don't always stay quiet. Sometimes they speak in dreams, in passing thoughts, or in unexpected timing. Think about how often you've picked up your phone just before it rings, and it's them. Or how you've opened your social media, and there they are, even though you haven't searched for them in ages. Or how you've thought about them strongly in the morning, and later found out they asked about you that very day. It's easy to ignore things like this once or twice, but when it happens again and again, you begin to wonder. Now that doesn't mean you should chase every sign like it's a romantic movie. That's not what this is about. The goal isn't to turn this into a fantasy. The goal is to listen, to understand, to reflect. Because just as two people can match each other in chaos, they can also line up when it comes to growth. Sometimes mutual thoughts are signs of longing. Other times they're a signal that someone's ready for something new. And occasionally, they're just your heart's way of finding peace when words were never enough. There's something powerful about knowing someone might be thinking of you at the exact moment you're thinking of them. It carries a kind of sacred energy, and if you feel it, really feel it, don't just wave it away. Ask yourself, why now? What is this moment trying to show me? Is it time to reach out, or is this the moment to release it with grace? Is this about them, or is it about what they taught me that I still need to learn? Just because something is invisible doesn't mean it's not real. Just because it doesn't fit into logic doesn't mean it's meaningless. The heart often understands things long before the mind is ready to accept them, and when these signs show up, they're not here to mess with you, they're here to wake you up. When two hearts start speaking in silence, it's not a fantasy. It's real, wordless communication, and if you're open enough to really notice, it might say exactly what you've needed to hear. There are moments in life that simply can't be explained. You think of someone out of nowhere, and they contact you. You dream of someone you haven't seen in years, and their name comes up the next day. You feel a wave of emotion for no clear reason, and later learn they were going through something that day. We're told to call that coincidence because it's safer. But what if we stopped brushing these things off? What if we actually paid attention? If you stay curious and look at the patterns, you might begin to see something deeper, something that connects minds and hearts across miles and years. When two people share a real emotional bond, it doesn't fade easily. The body remembers, the nervous system holds it. Even after everything changes, the energy between you can still remain. And when they think of you, and you think of them, that emotional link creates a kind of harmony, like two instruments playing the same tune, even though they're far apart. This doesn't require words or even awareness. You don't need to speak. You don't even need to be close anymore. But the emotion can still be real. These shared moments of timing can carry weight that logic alone can't measure. And when they happen over and over, they force us to ask, are we really so separate from one another? You might be deep in work or talking with a friend when suddenly you're hit with a memory. Not just a passing thought, but a flood of feeling, a look, a shared moment, a silence. And then you wonder, where are they now? Do they feel it too? That's how emotional synchronicity begins. Not just you reaching out in thought, but something in them reaching out to you, even without meaning to. The mind is not a sealed box. It's more like a channel, and when you think of someone with deep emotion, you're sending energy outward. And if they're doing the same, on purpose or not, that's when a strange loop begins. It's not magic. It's the result of emotional imprinting. Your brain is tuned to notice patterns tied to people who've mattered deeply. When those patterns show up from both within and without, something deeper is at work. Time begins to feel strange in those moments. The past feels close. The distance between you starts to fade, not physically, but emotionally. Their name pops up. Their favorite song plays. A shared friend mentions them. These aren't just triggers from memory. These are signs that something is still active, a connection that is still alive. That doesn't mean you're meant to reunite. It doesn't mean you need to act, but it does mean your emotional world is speaking to you, and it's worth listening. When you're thinking of someone and they're thinking of you, it doesn't always mean you're holding on. Sometimes it's just the echo of something unfinished, something real. To notice synchronicity isn't to give up on reason. It's to accept that life is complex, that our minds are made for more than facts and figures. They're built for feelings, meaning, stories, and intuition. When someone becomes part of your emotional journey, that connection doesn't just vanish.